Welcome to the Njomodo Show. I'm your host, Dr. Uwa Onyoha Osimiri. I proudly serve as the president of the African Women Mobilization Commission, a non-profit organization headquartered here in the United States with philanthropic work in Nigeria. And I'm also the spiritual leader of Chiism International, which is a subsidiary of the Guardian Religion International. Although I do a lot of things, today it's not about me. So I would like to go immediately to why we're here today. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's episode, Wisdom in the Years, Insights on Graceful Aging, featuring the fabulous, and I mean fabulous, Professor Jamila Franklin. Before we dive into our enlightening conversation, I would like to take a moment to emphasize the importance of developing a love for the inevitable process of aging. Now, society often portrays aging as something to dread, but it's essential to embrace it with grace and with pride. Aging is not just about the physical changes we see. It's a journey filled with wisdom, experience, and the beauty of life's lessons. So let's celebrate this process together, recognizing that every wrinkle, yes, and I mean that. So check, look in the mirror. If you got any wrinkles on you, know that every wrinkle tells a story and every gray hair signifies a moment lived. With that said, let's welcome Professor Jamila Franklin and explore how we can age gracefully and gracefully. But before I bring her in, I know you can't wait and neither can I. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce her to you formally, all right? Professor Jamila Franklin. I was on her show, and I think it was about 3 weeks ago, maybe, and it was just a delight to speak with her. She's the founder and the CEO of Oyinde Enterprises. She's an accomplished holistic psychotherapist, certified aromatherapist, and a teacher, certified Reiki master and teacher, certified metaphysician and teacher, reflexologist, energy transformation practitioner, holistic life coach, radio talk show host, college professor, and award-winning published author. Professor Franklin brings a wealth of experiences and training to her current private practice in holistic health and spiritual wellness. Having completed her undergraduate education at Cornell University, she later completed a master's degree in educational administration at Harvard University and a master's degree in counseling psychology at Lesley University. After working in various positions in the field of education for over 15 years, Professor Franklin realized that her career interests were changing, which is what happens with us. You know, after a while, we decide, oh, we want to do something different. Professor realized that she had to do something different. It was changing. Her taste was changing, her interests, her experiences. She decided to pursue a practice in holistic health and spiritual wellness. Her current practice in Atlanta, Georgia, combines her traditional educational background with her holistic training and or research in psychotherapy, aromatherapy, Reiki, metaphysics, reflexology, empowerment, energy transformation, quantum physics, emotional release, and stress management. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing else I can say about this fantastic lady, but just bring her to the stage so she'll tell us some more. Welcome, 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 Jamila. How are you?
How excited to have you. Dr. Uwa, I am so excited to be on your show. I just think you're just amazing. Fantastic. So you asked me.
It's amazing to have you here. You know, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's exciting about you. where everybody else is trying to shrink into the background as they get older. You're standing up there and say, wait, back it up. No. And you know what? One of the things that you do that I find quite interesting, and if I may just go back here, your mantra is, we are what? We are who? We are, we are what? Vibrant. We are who? CT plus. Yes, I love, and sometimes, and I will be honest with you, so you don't know what impact you have, right? So sometimes when I get on in front of my mirror, I say, we are who? We are. Yes. So how are you? Welcome to the Njomoto Show.
Yes, it's such an honor and pleasure. Thank you so very, very much. I am so excited to be here and
to have you here. And for those who don't know, Njomoto is Igbo Nigerian word that means words of wisdom that we share, that you can add to your repertoire. So obviously you have a lot of words of wisdom to share today to help people, guide them through this whole process of going to the next level. So let me start with the first question, obvious question actually. What inspired you to focus on the empowerment of elders, and how has your own personal journey influenced your approach to this mission?
Well, it's interesting because it's like I didn't have a choice. I did, but I didn't, because I was walking. I'm an exercise enthusiast. So I was just walking, Dr. Simmery. And all of a sudden, this information just came into my crown chakra that said, there's nothing out there that really addresses your demographic of 50 plus. And I was like, where is this coming from? And then more information just kept, as I was walking, it kept continuing. So it's just like the creator of the universe was saying, look, we have to stop these stereotypes about people who are aging. And I have it lined up for you. So I just followed the template, the spiritual template that I was given. And I was so honored that I was chosen, but it came from spirit, from above, hit my consciousness. And so it said the only two things that are out there that were addressing our issues were Medicare and AARP, and both are very good organizations. But, I'm vegan and my health is pretty good, not only because I'm vegan. There's some people who are vegan who are having health challenges, but I'm healthy. And then AARP has the stigma of people who are sedentary, even though the people now, they really have worked to revise that image. But still people have that in mind when they think of AARP. So I said, let me think of something different. And so the energy came and it said, okay, come up with a name, come up with a mission, come up with a store, come up with a podcast. So the name became Gray Lives on the Rise, because even though the hair may be gray or not be gray, it's a consciousness that, and we've earned the right and privilege to tell the world we are proud and we're here to stay, and we're on the upswing, on the rise.
That's
and
right.
So
That's
we
right.
have merchandise, and we have the podcast, and we were so honored to have you as one of our featured speakers, and people loved your information.
Oh, I loved doing it.
Yeah. So that's how it came to be. And I feel so very honored because we are global. We are around the world, and people from around the world have been guest speakers on the podcast because we share something in common. When you get 50 plus, people tend to dismiss you and sometimes gaslight you.
Yes. Professor, let me tell you, one of the things that obviously you're aware of this, one of the problems that we have as people getting older is that we are needing validation. Do you understand? We feel that people need to validate us. We still have a little youth left in us, as opposed to, hey, you know what? This is a privilege. Many people did not see this age, and here we are, still inhaling and exhaling. What a privilege that is.
Yes.
Anybody who is drying, who's feeling badly about the fact they're getting older, try dying. How about that? How about that? That's the option. That's the other option.
Yes.
Life, make something with the life you've got. And then, and then how about when you get to a certain age? Now you've got the privilege to just be.
Yes.
You don't need anybody to shoot on you anymore. I want to ask you a
Yes.
question again. I want to ask you this. Now you've interviewed many guests, and I've watched some of the guests, and it's so amazing, to listen to people who are on this life journey talk about their experiences. So can you share some memorable stories or experiences from your interviews that highlights the impact elders have had in their communities?
Oh, definitely. We have to date 74 episodes. We started in 2024. So we're coming up on our second anniversary. So there are so many stories. There are stories of people, of some of my guests have talked about sensuality and sexuality. Because when you get to be 50, people think that you are dead and that you're not interested sexually. That is as far from the truth as day is from night. And I've had some guest speakers really talk about how at this stage in our lives, 50 plus or whatever, how to be more sensual and how to be more sexually alluring. And it's wonderful. We have gotten a lot of responses on those shows when people talk about those shows.
Yes.
And then we've had people on who talk about wellness, because as we age, sometimes people have problems with their joints and pain and back.
All the joints.
Yeah, we start having problems, with arthritis and things like that. So we had a wonderful guest talk about the patches, X39 patches, which don't use any chemicals or drugs and use your body's light to get rid of pain. We've had a guest on to talk about mitochondria in terms of going to the cells of your body to have the body reverse itself. That's our wellness piece, because I'm really into holistic health. So the guests come with that kind of vision to tell people your life isn't over because you're having some bodily pains. As a matter of fact, with these new technologies, we have things now that are not pharmaceutical drugs that will help the body heal itself naturally. So, but those shows, and then I've had people on talking about their sexual trauma, because sometimes prior to talking to me, some people have never shared it with people in their family, the women primarily, and they have been traumatized by these horrific experiences. Sometimes they've come from people within the family, sometimes trusted external people from the family, but people that people trusted. And it's been horrific. So they've been able to share comfortably on my show the trauma, and people in the audience have just really connected with that, because for decades they have hidden this. Sometimes people in their own families never knew that they had been traumatized. So my show gives them the opportunity and the platform to talk about these experiences and making no judgment, and they feel liberated and free because they've held on to this trauma for so long. And so I love it when people feel free to talk about their health challenges, about the sexual challenges, emotional traumas in terms of divorce, because divorce after 50 is very different than divorce before 50. If you've been with someone for decades and all of a sudden now your partner has decided to divorce you, or you've decided to divorce, that can be extremely traumatizing. So we provide support for people at different stages who are 50 plus.
You know what? Often this, and I always go back to society. Society tells you how you're supposed to feel.
Yes.
Oh, she's old. Or
yes.
That terminology. Old. I choose not to use that terminology. You're seasoned.
Yes.
How many seasons have you seen?
Yes.
And those who have not been here, they might not make it to where you are today. You know what I'm saying? What a privilege. And I did tell the story about in my village, we don't get anything started until the elders give the permission, right?
Yes.
And then we have the walk of the elders, the march of the elders. and they're walking into any event, any important event, everybody sits and wait till those elders march forward and get their seats. And then the eldest amongst them says, now we may proceed. So what does that mean? It's something to look forward to as well. Even when we pour libations and call out the names of people who have aged up to 80, right? So what's wrong with being an elder? You're marching towards something great. You're going to become, something great, even in the afterlife. But here we look at the television, we listen to nonsense. You know what I say to that? Don't listen to it. You don't need to be validated. Validate yourself. Wear what you want to wear. Your age, being an elder has given you the permission to just be. I say that I have the permission to be. Let me ask you, what do you think, based on all the people that you have, that you've interviewed and some of the things that you have experienced, what challenges do you think that elders face today? And then given your program, your talk show, what does it aim? How does it aim to address or overcome these challenges, which are quite numerous?
First of all, I love the fact that you have redefined our wonderful season in life, because I don't use the word old and senile and decrepit, because we're not that. We're seasoned, we're mature, we're vibrant, we're in the golden years of our lives. And some of the things that we have experienced, and this is really what's interesting, is an oxymoron, because when you get to be 50 plus, now you can be 49 and you're relevant. The next day, when you turn 50, the people in this country, in the West in particular, will say, oh my gosh, you're over the hill, like I said, and they tend to gaslight you. And one of the things that I've seen in terms of this is age discrimination is rampant.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I was led to do the podcast, so we could shop amongst ourselves, talk amongst ourselves. We're not trying to be 20, 30, and even 40. We're not trying to do that. We've been there, done that.
So, been there, done that. Thank you.
Been there, done that. And we did it marvelously, darling. We did it marvelously, right? Because look at us. We look good. So we lived our lives very well. But age discrimination, people know if they put the years of graduation on their resumes, they're not going to get hired. If they put the number of jobs that they've had with the years, they're not going to get hired. Anything that puts a date on your experiences, these people are not going to hire you. And the irony of it is the people who hire them, the companies that they work for, all of their employers are 50 plus. And all of their employers are older than they are. And I said, okay, look at this, HR. Your boss is 50 plus. All of them are in their 50s or 60s, 70s or whatever. And you're discriminating against people in your age group. And what's interesting is age discrimination is real. And what I've seen with my platform, I talk about that in different ways. And that's the reason why I have people come on, because people can see we're creating ourselves. I recreated myself at least 3 times. So it's like we're coming into the vision of who we desire to be, especially if people have retired. So discrimination, age discrimination, and sometimes the disrespect. And that's what I love about my sisters and brothers on the motherland, on the continent. They revere age. Here, this is a Western concept. People doing Botox. They're trying to look younger than they are.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's crazy. And their faces are freezing up when they're trying to do that, or they're trying to hang out with their children. Some people at the clubs. Honey, you are beyond that. You are beyond. Or the men are dating children who are young enough to be their dating children who are young enough to be their children. You are beyond that. Getting a red Corvette. Honor your station in life. Like Dr. Osimiri said, some people don't make it to this stage. Be very, very proud. It doesn't mean that you have to have your hair gray or whatever, but be proud of telling people your age. You know, because we are aging well. We're aging well. So be proud of that. So young people can say, well, when I get to be a certain age, I'm going to look like Dr. Osimiri, because she looks good. You see? So we have to be the prototype for that. We have to show them how to age gracefully, not how to try to hold on to youth. Youth is fleeting. It's fleeting.
Well, how long does that last? The reality is you're born, you grow old.
Yes.
I don't care how much makeup you put on. I don't care what, all these things we do. Eventually, we're going to have to accept that we are elders, but do so with pride and dignity.
Yes.
I mean, this is the destination for everybody. Okay, everybody. What's the gentleman's name? Oh, I can't think of it. He's a singer. He sang that song. Someday you're gonna get old. Do you remember? Oh, bless your soul. Oh, I can't think of it. He's gone now, but that's the truth. Bless your soul. Someday you're going to be old, so you might as well enjoy it. Enjoy it. We all grow old. It's nothing to be ashamed of. In my language, it's something we say. Anakale fakale. Anakale fakale. There's some things that you've just outgrown. There's some things when you look at it, you say, I'm beyond that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We elders have to start having a low attitude. That's just me. You understand what I'm saying? I have an attitude. I don't care about age. You know what I'm saying? My age is just a blessing. I'm blessed. Go to the graveyard. There's so many young people buried in there. And here I am, still walking amongst the living. Is that good? I love it. I love being an elder. I love it. And I'm so proud of you for taking it where other people are busy trying to, run away from it. You're saying, all right, let's come together. Let's discuss this inevitability. It's something you can't run from, but oh my goodness, something you should be very proud of. I have another question for you. In your opinion, what are some of the most common misconceptions about aging that you hope to change through your work?
That we are not viable, that we are not able to contribute to society, and that you can dismiss us. You can't do that, because this population is the largest demographic. And see, that's the thing to me, Dr. Osimiri, that is so interesting. And when I say the word interesting, it translates to meaning crazy. So I'm trying not to use that word crazy anymore. It's so interesting is that this demographic is an empowered demographic on so many levels, politically, financially, mentally. We're empowered. Most don't have children at home. The children are out of the house. They're empty nesters. They have disposable income. And that's, to me, I said, these people don't seem to understand that when people are 50 plus, and some have even paid off their mortgages, and they're traveling. So if you have a business and you're less than 50, you need to appeal to the people who are 50 plus. Because they have disposable income. They have wisdom to give you because they've been through it. So don't be dismissive. I had an encounter with someone a couple of months ago, and this person, I said in another life, I probably would have responded to this individual very differently, because as I've become seasoned, I've become more diplomatic. I become more diplomatic. But the person would make gaslight remarks to me. And because of who I am, I have pause, and I'm not going to sink down to your level. This person thought that I didn't hear what she said. I heard it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can't see that well, so I'm going to do this. And you don't drive that well. I said, honey, let me just tell you this. I don't have an accident, in terms of, I don't have that on my record. That's the first thing. The second thing, I drive cautiously because I want to get to where I'm going, as opposed to arriving in a coffin. So, but her perception.
You're no longer in a hurry.
Yeah. And her perception and her attitude, right? Both were dismissive. And I said, okay. And so she's now befallen some really hard times, because you can't put negative stuff out there and disrespect. The things that she said, I would never say to someone of my age when I was younger. But she felt she had the privilege. But I said, karma is interesting, because you can say that now, but when you get, hopefully you will get to be my age. And if you do, what you put out to others, it's going to come back to you.
Yes, it does.
And so when it comes back to you, don't grimace because you put it out there. Just because we are of a certain age, we are very wise, we're very skilled, we're very knowledgeable. And some companies now are going back to bring retired persons back because the younger people were, this is not all, but a lot of them will quit on you in a second. They don't have loyalty to a company. It's all about the money for some of them, not all of them. So, and we don't operate like that. Most of us have had integrity. We've been at companies for decades. We're very loyal. That's how we are. The youth, they're very different. So these companies now who have allowed the HR people to bring in a lot of young people, some of them are reversing that. They're reversing. I know that I'm a coach, a life career transitions coach. About a third of the people on staff are older than 50. They don't use the age discrimination. Yeah, they're older than 50 because they know that we have the wisdom and we're very good and we're very meticulous and we are very focused on the details. The young folk, they just focus on the outcome. Then a lot of them, not all, so I don't want people to get all upset and and start spazzing out. They are more focused on, okay, I want to get there, not the process. We're focused on the process, detail oriented, because we know if you focus on the process, you're going to have a favorable outcome. If you don't, you're going to have to repeat the entire thing again. So,
thank you for sharing that. And it's very important, if I may speak to the elders in the room, so to speak. The most powerful tool in the hands of an oppressor is the mind of the oppressed.
Yes.
And in our mind, sometimes we look at oppressors as people outside of us. Sometimes we are our own oppressors.
Yes.
Some of our activities, some of the things we do, some of the things we buy into, some of the ways we act while we're out there, we are actually oppressing ourselves because we've internalized all these nonsense that they say out there. But I tell you, Professor, when I get in that car and I drive out here, I go wherever I want to go. I don't care who. To me, nobody looks better than me. I'm sure somebody thinks they do. But not me. You see what I'm saying?
Oh
yeah. Down here, I don't, because it doesn't matter what you think of me. When I leave this earth, you're not going down there with me. I'm going alone. So what do I think what you think about the fact that I've made it this far and you're still in the valley trying to climb up this mountaintop? If you are an elder, you're already at the mountaintop. Many are not going to be able to climb down, from down there up here. We pray for all of us to get up here, but many don't make it. So here you are, fortunate to make it. And what are you doing? You're hating it. You're hating the fact that you're in your 60s. You're 50 in your 60s. Well, when I was young, somebody would say, what happened? I read your Bible. I just read your Bible. Do you see what's in there? Do you see what's in there? It takes time to achieve all of that.
Yes.
If I read my bio, it takes time to achieve all I have and all that you have. So being an elder is not just, like you said, it's not just a physical thing. Being an elder is experiences.
Yes.
Wisdom that you have achieved.
Yes.
Accumulated that you can share with those who are still on their journey. Those of you who are younger than 50, I'm not trying to say anything to put you down. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is look forward to this time. Yes. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying life better than when we were children. When we were younger, what did we do? When we were younger, I was busy being a mother, having children, cooking, doing all these things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So based on that, I'm so glad to be where now I'm free. Yes. I am free to do as I please. Now, whatever extra I choose to do is optional. It's what I choose to do. Yes. Another question I have for you. It's so exciting to have you here. I mean, I'm reliving my seasoned
Yes.
Life.
Sister, yes, yes.
So I want to ask you, how do you select? I've seen all the guests that you have on
Mm-hmm.
your show. How do you select the guests for your show, and what qualities do you look for in those individuals whose stories you believe can inspire others? How do you do
Great, great. All these questions are excellent. Well, the people that I select are sometimes referrals
that?
from my
Okay.
other guest speakers. Sometimes they're people whom I know. And then sometimes it's just, I might be panning the Facebook or something, and I see someone that I'm following, and I don't know the person. No one I know knows the person, but I'm impressed by what I see. So then I would contact the person. And
Yes.
then even though we have a discovery call, because I explained to the potential guests what my expectations are and the expectations of Great Lives on the Rise, our podcasts. And I have to make sure that they are in alignment, because our goal is to empower those who are 50 plus, and to put them on a pedestal and give them a platform to tell their story.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
if they're not in alignment, and I've talked to some people who have not been in alignment,
Uh-huh.
they cannot make it to being a guest speaker. So I invite anyone to contact me via the website, because we have Great Lives on the Rise as one of our the latest baby, the latest company that I have, and people can contact me via that. But just because I talk with you doesn't mean that you will automatically be a guest, because if there's no alignment, and and we're not syncing together, then it just can't happen. And sometimes it's on the person's part. The potential guest speaker says, "Well, I don't think this is going to work for me." That's fine. And then sometimes it's my observation, and I would tell them, "Well, I don't think that this is a good fit." So, but everyone who's been on the show, people have been very impressed with each person, because, and we have males as well as females. Like I said, it's global. I've had people on from Serbia, Eastern Europe. I've had people on from South Africa, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Haiti, the Philippines, the UK, America, and it keeps growing. The list keeps growing. So, and all races, all ethnic
All
groups.
races, yes, I noticed that. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
and all
That's
ethnic
wonderful.
groups. Yeah,
You know,
because each person has a story to tell. So I would like for people to tell the story, so that people within his or her demographic can say, "Oh yeah," or and outside of that demographic, because
yes,
people from different backgrounds may have you think about things that you had not ordinarily thought about.
yes. You know, I have much respect to those young people who do realize the importance of listening to the elders. Something like what we're doing here today. You
Mm-hmm.
know, many young people are not used to it. They're
Right,
used to listening to their peers, which is okay, which is
right,
perfectly okay. But the wisdom that you can get from elders, these are people that have been where you are and now where you're trying to get to. And they have seen life from different perspectives. They've lived life from different perspectives, and that can add to your repertoire. You can learn. And the respect you give an elder today, this is what you should anticipate for yourself. Because if we
exactly.
continue to be down elders, someday, Professor, let me say this. When I was younger, um, well, when I was like in my teens, right? A 40-year-old, oh my God, that person is really old.
Right.
Now I'm way past that. But the one thing, though, I give myself credit, and I'll give you credit for that because I see it, is that you understand the alternative to aging is not being here.
Right.
And that's just putting it mildly. There was
Right.
a young man, this is a true story, a young man who committed suicide. But do you know why he committed suicide? He
Mm.
killed himself at age 26 because he didn't want to be old. He didn't
Wow.
want to go beyond age 26. He wanted to die young. So my question is, so you died young, now
Wow.
what?
Wow.
The rest of
That's so
us are still
unfortunate.
living, still enjoying. But you died at 26. Because now that's the reason he gave. He left a note for his family. He didn't want to be older than 26. He wants to be
Wow.
remembered only as a 26-year-old. The other day, and then I have another question for you. The other day, a gentleman opened the door in a bank and walked. Well, it's not the other day, it's been a little while. And he walked into the bank. I'm walking behind him, mind you. He just walked through the door and let the
Mhm.
door hit me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. He just walked right in. Oh, let me tell you, I'm Nigerian. We don't tolerate that. Probably
Mhm.
what, I just walked up to him and said, and I started speaking my language. I was asking him, it wasn't one. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, well, since you don't understand courtesy in English, let me put it to you in Igbo. You
Mhm.
hit me, your elder, with a door. Do you realize that someday you will be an elder? How would you
Wow.
like somebody to close the door on you like that? Of course, he apologized, but we elders also need to help some of these young people understand
Yes.
what they need
Yes.
to know. Don't leave it up to what they see on television and all of that sort of thing, because when they become elders, they're in shock.
Yes.
They start buying into all the nonsense they've heard, and they become subdued, they become, reclusive and all of that. No,
Yes.
we should be out there enjoying life.
Yeah.
Enjoying life. That's what we should be doing. So let me ask you, what changes or initiatives do you hope to see in society regarding elder? Now, this is important, not the word I'm using here, elder empowerment in the
Mhm.
next few years. Because when we terminate employment of elders, obviously it is destructive for them financially.
Mhm.
Okay. And when we, excuse expression, when we poo-poo their existence as
Mhm.
immaterial to the whole scheme, in the whole scheme of things, we impact them negatively. So how do you envision your role in the transformation that's necessary to build the elders up, or to remind them that they matter?
Yeah. I think that that example you gave with the door was very telling because something similar, somewhat, yeah, it was similar, almost happened to me. And then we talk about our empowerment. I was at the post office and this gentleman was older too. And we were both going to the door at the same time. And I stopped.
Mm.
I stopped to allow him to open the door. And he got it. He said, "Oh, you want me to open the door for you?" I said, "Yes.
Shouldn't have
Yes.
had to ask.
Yeah, yeah." Because see what they use as an excuse, and I, women who are younger, this is die casting aspersions on all of you, but stop being overly masculine in terms of, well, I can open the door for myself. I've seen some things
Yes.
on Instagram where they're like, I don't need anybody to open the door for me. So these guys then have in their heads that they don't have to honor you as the queen that you are. So for me,
Yeah.
I stepped back and I said, yeah. He said, well, some of you don't want the doors open. I said, but that's not me. So
That's right.
what we have to do is step back,
Yes.
and then your presence then sometimes registers, and then if it doesn't, you say, okay, young man, can you open the door for me? For two reasons: I'm a female, and secondly, I'm your elder.
Yes.
Because see, they've been taught not to do that
Yes.
through social media, and
Yes.
through
Yes.
women telling them not to do that.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
they've been trained. Well, I can do this, and women have said, young women have said, well, I can raise my children by myself because
Hmm.
my mommy did it. I said, well, ask
Yes.
your mother if she would she have done that,
Yes.
and
You
that
know,
stops them. I said, ask her if she had a choice to have the father of her children with her. as a husband or whatever, would she have selected to be single, raising children on her own, or having his presence, even if he were not in the house, just having him around? So we have to become empowered in terms of our status, and allowing young people through our actions, because people watch you through our actions to do certain things. And also the second thing is become politically active. Don't give up your power. Get involved with the politics. Go to those commissioner meetings locally, because that's what I have done. I've gone to the commissioners meeting. Those at the local level, it goes up to the top. It's more important at the local level, because what happens is, if you need street lights on your street, the vice president isn't thinking about that, but your commissioner is the person who can make that happen. If you need better schools in your community, you need to be at those commissioner meetings as a person, as a seasoned person, as a young person, rather than complaining on social media. Stop it, please. That goes nowhere. Oh, you can get likes or whatever, but you're in the same position. And the people say your vote doesn't matter. We now see that it does matter. So it does matter. It matters. So you can't sit down on social media and complain when you haven't done anything.
That's
you
right.
Need to take your activism. I've been very active all my life. You need to take that activism to the streets, to the churches, to wherever you are, and speak up. Not just on social media and hide behind the camera so no one can see you, and you make all these remarks. That serves no purpose. Be politically active, be economically active, buy things from people who look like you, buy things from people who are older. Rather than complaining, your dollars matter. All these people who are disrespecting you, I'm telling you, if you stop spending your money, Target found that out. If you stop spending your money, they would shift, because they're in business to make money. So if you start restricting your dollars rather than just complaining, and when people I know people who went to the same college as me, complain. Don't do anything but sit back and complain. So I'm like, that to me, that's not impressive. And I even stopped contributing to those kinds of discussions, because I know you're going to sit back and complain and do nothing. So stop complaining. Seasoned people, you have power. I'm telling you, we're the largest demographic. We're the most financially empowered demographic. We don't have children we're putting through school. Our money, for the most part now, is our money. So I'm telling you, if you stop spending your money, your dollars, where people disrespect you, you will get a completely different response.
Absolutely. Here. And it's so interesting. We go to these stores, this, Professor. You go to these stores and they have all this marketing, advertisement and all of that for clothing and all of that, right? And it's for pencil thin people for the most part. And then you've got elders are literally never represented. Very few elders do you see, which is really, for me, you have a responsibility to change what you don't like. Ask them. You say, what, I came to the store to purchase, but I see that you don't have anything for people my age, so I'll take my leave. Watch and see how many of them will pause and ask you to come back. And you tell them, I'm not represented here, but you expect me to buy clothes that you have. You're marketing to the young and the skinny, but then you have mine squeezed in there somewhere. If I move around, perhaps I'll run into it. You have to put demands on these people. The elder dollars, the kind of money we spend. Oh, come on. We have the responsibility. We have the responsibility. And I want to talk about the men. Let's talk about our brothers. Yes. Who think achieved a certain age that they're not worth the information. They're not worth the what they were when they were younger. Everything has a season, so to speak. You're younger, right? It's all the you're in the moon somewhere. Your eyes are, you're just in love, all that. But after a while, all that lovey-dovey stuff interests have changed. Your body has changed. But it doesn't mean that your body is shut down.
Exactly.
You know, so some men have it in their heads, I'm too old. You're too old for what? You're too old for what? You still have to walk in holy boldness. Still walk in front. There are many beautiful women, seasoned women who will be interested in you. That I think the tragedy is those who are like in their 70s chasing after the 25-year-olds. Well, of course, that's silly, you know. Like, you know, and they say that what that gives them their youth back. No, it doesn't. It'll give you a heart attack. What you need to do is, all right. What you need to do is taper your interest, right? Reorganize your mind, you know, tailor what you want according to you. There's an Igbo proverb that says, "Ebe onye ebe aka ruru onye mkpumkpu ya okowa akpa ya. Ebe aka ruru onye mkpumkpu ya okowa akpa ya." That means where the short man, okay, finds the hook, that's where he hangs his coat. Don't try and hang your coat where your hands, where there's no, you can't hang your coat up there. Hang it where you can. Be who you are. Find interest within who you are, and that will continue, you know, to make you who, you know, to continue to expand your horizon and keep you happy. There are so many beautiful women out here that love women, love men who are older. You know what I'm saying? So you don't look down on yourself because you've achieved a certain age. You know what I'm saying? No, your life is just beginning. I say the only thing that will stop you is when you're 6 feet under. Until that happens, keep it moving. Keep it moving. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look at some of the comments that viewers have made, and you can answer, you can respond to some of them. They're not that a lot of them is complimentary, but let's see. This one is from Sovereign. Sovereign says, SA and emotional psychological trauma are definitely long-standing scars, especially mentally for the elderly. What do you have to say about that?
Well, SA is definitely, for those who don't know what that is, sexual assault.
Yes.
I think what happens is, as I had mentioned before, people, and men have been sexually assaulted too. Don't think it's just for women, because a lot of people have that stereotype. No, young boys and men have been sexually assaulted. I think holding it in causes a lot of trauma, and it causes people to check out faster. People die from heart attacks because of the stress. They die from aneurysms because of the stress. And a lot of times these stresses are causing the body to age. So it's good, and we have to get out of this habit, because Dr. Osimiri is amazing. She's a clinical psychologist. I'm a therapist. Okay, I have a master's degree in counseling psychology and have my own clinical practice. Seek support through therapy. Okay, and a lot of times people shy away from therapy when they're young and older because it's a stigma. No, I'm telling you, please seek therapy if you've had, let's say, if you had sexual assault, even if you haven't. You need to be able to talk to someone who is trained, not just someone in your family or just the minister. The ministers are good, but sometimes they don't have the training. Seek someone, because you have decades of suppressed energy in your body, which will affect your body. I'm telling you, as a therapist, you keep holding those secrets in, it will have you check out. You start having heart attacks, you start having physical symptoms because you have not found someone who can help you process the trauma.
Yeah. So you're so right. And the trauma of, it's not just, they're not even, people are not just dealing with the trauma of what they're experiencing. It's also dealing with the trauma of coming and telling somebody what's wrong. You know, that just scares the hell out of them. There was a lady. Now this was, you talk about trauma. She wasn't an older lady, but it's still trauma. And she had her husband bit off her ear.
Oh,
you know, yes. And she couldn't do anything about it because she was from Sierra Leone. and they told her it was her fault.
Wow.
So she couldn't do anything about that. She didn't seek, it was the courts that forced her to seek help to deal with the trauma that she was feeling after having gone through that. So a lot of people refuse to go and see therapists, which is something that's so important. A therapist is there to listen to you.
Yes.
You understand? It's not to lecture you. Just
Yeah.
listen to you, and you share your thoughts, and then they add whatever they need to add. But it's so important. Us elders, we shouldn't just hide ourselves in the closet somewhere because
Right.
we don't want to share if you've got something to share, share it. Go to the person who is actually has the certification,
Mm-hmm.
to deal with your kind of issues. You see,
Mm-hmm.
so this is wonderful. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely having a wonderful time.
Oh, I
Uh,
definitely am.
I just want to add one little thing. It doesn't have anything to do with elders, but it's something that we all need to be aware, and that is to be tolerant,
Yeah.
of diversity. So if I may play this very short video that speaks about the need for us, to be tolerant and respect each other. Be right back.
Mm.
Yes. Let us and as since we're talking about the elderly as well, let us have some compassion.
Mm-hmm.
There are those elders that don't have the capacity to walk around like you and I can.
Yeah.
Some of them are dealing with a lot of challenges, health challenges,
Mm-hmm.
emotional scars, perhaps the loss of loved ones. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
that's part of being an elder, is preparation that you're going to start losing some of the people you love, or
Yeah.
even you yourself. You would start thinking about what the life would be like for your loved ones when you're no longer here. But
Mm-hmm.
that is part of what anybody getting older will think about. But that should not consume us.
Right.
Frankly, what should consume us is living a fulfilled life,
Right.
a life full of excitement, a life full of joy, a life full
Mm.
of all those things that we could not do when we were younger, that
Yeah.
now there's no suppression. Nobody tells us we can't do because we are too young. Because guess what? We're old enough now to do
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
let me ask you, what would be your parting message for your audience today?
Well, my party message is to include people who are seasoned in
Yes.
your family gatherings,
Mhm.
in your conversations, in your acknowledgments. Do not dismiss them. Call them. Stop texting. Call them, because some of them may not have the agility of being able to respond to you via text. And
Yes.
the thing that is very, very heartbreaking is when people say, I should have called Nana. She was on my mind. Or I should have called Papa. He was on my mind and I just found out that he passed. Don't be so busy that you cannot include people who are seasoned. Because but for them, you wouldn't be here. You're part of their lineage. So just remember to include them. And when you include them, listen to them. And the thing that was heartbreaking that I had seen on Instagram is they would put people on Instagram who were older, who were suffering from dementia. And they would say anything. So people would laugh at them. And I said, that's cruel for a family member to put someone on Instagram who's suffering from dementia, to laugh at them, to make money off them. That is very cruel, because that can happen to you. Don't make a mockery out of them, because when they were not suffering from dementia, they were the matriarchs or the patriarchs of your family. So now that they are having diminishing capacity, Please don't make fun of them. Please revere them for who they were and who they are. Even if it takes them a minute to respond to you because their thinking has slowed down, be patient. Don't rush through them like I told you this person I know who tried to gaslight me. I said, and I looked at her, I said, well, the things I've accomplished, I hope that she, in her own field, that she can do that because I'm far from being someone with diminished capacity. And also remember, when people don't respond, it doesn't mean that they didn't hear you. And so she never got that. It doesn't mean that they don't hear you. It doesn't mean that they don't understand. Sometimes because of our wisdom, we're slow to respond because we know once you say something, those words you cannot retrieve. So in your youth, being impulsive, you've said things that you could not pull back. So the thing is to just be very, very understanding, because what you think may be present may not be there. It's not diminished capacity. We just learn to be more tolerant, to be wiser, to more, and as you shown, Dr. Simmery, to be more compassionate. We think before we speak. I know in my youth, I used to speak before I thought. Now in my wisdom, in my sage years, I'm in my sage years, I think, how is this going to affect someone? And also ask if they want to hear it.
That's right.
They may not want to hear what you have to say. So that's why I ask people, would you like to hear what I have to say? Because they may not. So don't assume because they are living with you in your house that they help you get, because but for they're allowing you to come through them as the mother, grandmother, whatever, you wouldn't be here with those.
That's right.
Resources. So always remember what you have, you owe to your ancestors.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that you did not get where you are on your own.
On your own. That's right.
You didn't. And that's one thing I grew up with. My mom showed me that. I knew I stood on her shoulders and on my ancestors' shoulders. These people keep forgetting. I'm not my ancestors. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
In terms they had to tolerate some things because of the law. Now you don't have to. But if they hadn't tolerated it, they wouldn't have been here. So you wouldn't be here. So be very clear. You are your ancestors. And you are now the next level of the ancestors. You are.
That's right.
Be proud of that.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderful. Listen, guess what I've got here? I've got my coffee cup.
Oh.
And you know, I have the your website has been scrolling down, and I say to people, when you spend something, it's not about the coffee cup. It's Great Lives on the Rise. It's not just about the cup. It's because you purchasing it, you are spending money with one of our own.
Yes.
Okay. So I did a little commercial, if you will, promo for this cup.
And it was
love to use it.
I loved it. Oh my goodness.
I love to use it. I love to use it to drink, not because I don't have other cups, but I love the reminder. Great Lives on the Rise. And it does, when you drink out of this cup, let me tell you, coffee and tea don't taste any better. Thank you so much. I would love to stay with you and talk some more, but let me wrap this up with this thought for everyone. So as we're ripening, this was an enlightening episode on aging gracefully. I want to extend to you my heartfelt thank you, Professor Jamila Franklin, for your marvelous insights and wisdom. Your perspective has truly enriched my understanding and our collective understanding of what it means to embrace the aging process with grace and joy. To our wonderful audience, thank you for joining us today. Your participation and engagement are what makes this show so special. I hope today's conversation has inspired you rather, to shift your mindset about aging, viewing it not as something to fear, but as a beautiful journey filled with growth and discovery. As you move forward, I encourage you to reflect on the lessons shared today. Consider how you can embrace your own journey of aging with pride, sharing your experience with other people around you. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider supporting the show, whether through subscription, sharing with friends, or leaving a review. Your support helps me continue to bring you valuable content. We hope to see you back here for the future episodes. Until next time, embrace your journey and remember that we all are going to age someday. we might as well be proud doing it. So it
Thank
is.
you, Dr. Osimiri, so much for this
Thank you
opportunity.
so very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me see. Okay, bless rising queens. All right, thank you. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. And somebody, I'll end it with this. Somebody says it was a great show, but of course it was.